Let's add a menu to our block entity. Even more topics available in the 121 Minecraft modding courses, now with energy and fluid handling for block entities, next to many other awesome topics. Alright, welcome back and chilling once more, and in this tutorial we'll be adding a menu basically to our custom pedestal block entity that we've of course seen in the last two tutorials. I highly recommend you follow both of them as well before you tackle this one, because, this is basically a prerequisite. As per usual though, as always, the code is available to you down below in the description, so you can basically double check it from there as well. Now, when it comes to a block entity, obviously we have the block entity itself that has the inventory, and we have also added the block entity renderer that actually renders the item that is inside of the inventory of the pedestal block entity. And now what I also want to do is I want to be able to shift right click the block entity, and basically then a menu will appear. Now this is going to work in the following way. First of all, we of course have to change the block entity where we will implement the menu provider interface. For this, we'll hover over and implement the interface. There's going to be two methods over here, the get display name method and the create menu method. I'm just going to move them above the get update packet method, just because I like to have both of those at the very bottom. This serves no actual purpose. I just like the order this way. In the get display name, it is as easy as just making a component.literal, and we're going to call this pedestal here in this case, pedestal, there we go. And in the create menu method, well, that's going to be a deliberate error because we can't actually open that menu yet because, well, the menu doesn't exist. And to create this menu, well, that's going to all happen in the tutorial mod package. We're going to make a new package called screen, and inside of there, that's where all the craziness goes. First of all, a custom package called custom in this case, and in the screen package, we're going to create the mod menu types class. Well, how about we name this correctly? Mod menu types, there we freaking go. And in the custom package, we're going to have two different Java classes. That's going to be the pedestal menu class, as well as the pedestal screen class. So the difference here is as follows. The pedestal screen basically is just the image displayed in the background. So what image might this be? Well, let's actually already add this because we will need to add this anyway. That's going to happen under assets, tutorial mod, textures, and then a new folder called GUI or GUI, and then another new folder called pedestal. And then inside of there, we got the pedestal underscore GUI.png. Now that one is available to you for download, of course, and it looks like this. Pretty freaking simple, as you can see. However, once again, the screen here, right? So we have a menu and we have a screen. The screen only displays this image. You sort of have to separate the idea of when you hover over this slot, you can put an item in there, things like that. That happens in the menu, right? So the menu is responsible for the interaction stuff, while the screen is only for rendering. It basically only renders this particular image, and it renders when you hover over an item, it renders the tooltip, but it doesn't do any functionality. That's sort of the idea when it comes to the menu and the screen. And what we're going to do is we're going to start with the menu as that makes the most sense. This will extend from the abstract container menu class, and we're going to hover over this to implement the two methods over here. Hover over this again, create constructor matching super, and it's going to be quite interesting anyway, because the constructors are going to be quite interesting. First of all, we're going to make this public, and we're going to remove the menu type over here so that the first parameter is the container ID. We're then going to have an inventory, so this is going to be inventory. We're going to call this INV. And the third parameter is a friendly byte buff. We're going to call this extra data. And inside of the constructor, instead of the super, we're going to call this, passing first of all in p container ID, then passing in the inventory, and then passing in inv.player.level.getBlockEntity, passing in extra data.read block pass. Now this looks kind of crazy, but that is basically what we're going to need. And of course, this particular constructor over here doesn't exist yet. So what we'll do is we'll hover over this, and it hopefully will say create constructor in pedestal. Otherwise, you have to click more actions, and then it should say create constructor in pedestal menu. And that is going to create the correct constructor over here. The second one, this is where we'll do a comma and then passing in the container ID, because right now we don't have the menu type registered yet, so we can't pass it in there yet, but we're going to do that in a second. And then we need some other things. The next things are two fields. We're going to need a public. This is going to be a public final pedestal block entity. This is the pedestal block entity that is associated with this particular menu that was created, because of course, when you right click a block entity, it's going to have a singular, like it's going to have a singular menu. And this way, basically, we're going to be able to access that block entity from here. That's going to be the block entity. And then we'll also have a private final level, making sure we choose the one from net Minecraft world level over here. We're going to call this level. That's just going to make a bunch of things much easier. And because both of them are final, we of course also need to actually assign them here. That's going to be this.block entity is equal to the block entity constructor.cast, and we're going to cast this to a pedestal block entity. And the second one here is going to be this.level is equal to inv.player.level. Awesome. We then need to make sure that the menu actually knows where the slots are. And the slots are, once again, this image gets, printed or, whatever. I mean, let's say printed by the screen. And now we want to define, okay, this is the inventory of the player, right? This is the hotbar, and this is the inventory of the block entity. How do we do that? Well, for this, we have two helper methods, which basically always look the same. That's why I'm going to copy them over. As per usual, the code is available to you down below, so you can double check it there. Basically, add the player inventory and add the player hotbar, and the contents here are already calculated, basically every one of those, so that the slots are situated correctly. We then want to call the add player inventory first, passing in inv, and then add player hotbar, and then also passing in inv. We also then need to define the inventory of the pedestal itself. So this is going to be the following. It's going to look like this: this.add slot with a new slot item handler, passing in this.block entity.inventory. So this basically points to the inventory of our pedestal block entity. We're going to say we want to use the slot of index 0, so the one slot that we have, and this is going to be situated at position 80 and 35. Now you might say, where does 80 and 35 come from? Well, if we start at the top left corner of the screen over here, if you go 80 in this direction, 80 pixels in this direction, and 35 pixels right here, we're going to end up right here, and that's going to be exactly where the slot begins. That's the idea, and that is how this is situated. Now we have two other methods. That is the still valid method and the quick move stack method. The still valid method simply calls the still valid method right here with the container level access. We will call container level access.create, passing in level, passing in block entity dot get block pos. And after the second closing parentheses, we want to pass in pplayer, and finally modblocks.pedestal.get. Very important that the block right here is obviously the correct block associated with your block entity. Otherwise, it's not going to work properly, right? That's quite important. And then finally, my favorite method, and that is sarcasm, that is the quick move stack method. As per usual, we will copy over the entire thing, and there is a reason for it because it is absolutely massive and just tedious and crazy. So first of all, over here, once again, the credit goes to DZMO7, as I've been using this for, I don't even know how long, forever basically. And the idea is that this enables you to shift click certain items, right? So if I were to hover over this and I shift click on this, right, then I'm going to be able to click this item from here to my inventory and back. And that is basically what allows this to happen with these calculations over here to basically get the first empty slot. And here it is super important, the TE inventory slot count. This is however many slots you have in your custom block entity, right? In our case, obviously, we only have one. If you had 3, then you need to change this to 3. Otherwise, it's not going to properly work. This is the one thing that you have to change, but the rest you can basically keep the same. And with that, I basically always just, collapse this, and I don't want to look at this again. Yes, you can go move through this method. You can understand it. It's totally fine. It works. But in this case, we're just going to sort of ignore it because it's just ridiculous in my opinion. But with that, the menu class is basically, well, pretty much almost entirely done except for the super call. So that we're going to fix by going to the mod menu types. Here, of course, we need to register our menu, and that's going to happen with exactly a deferred register, this time of type menu type of type question mark over here. I call this menus equal to deferred register.create. It's going to be for registries.menu, and there's going to be tutorial mod.modID. And of course here, we're going to call the public static void register method with an iEvent bus. Call event bus over here. I'm going to say menus.register, passing in that event bus, and there we go. And we're going to call the register method, of course, in our tutorial mod constructor right here. So this is going to be mod menu types.register, passing in the event bus, and there we have it. And to register our menu, we actually need a helper method. Now, we don't necessarily need the helper method, but it's just a little bit nicer. And to register our menu, we're going to have a public static final registry object of type menu type of type pedestal menu. So there's going to be the pedestal menu right here. It's going to be the pedestal underscore menu as well. There we go. And this is going to be equal to menus.register, passing in a name. That's going to be the pedestal underscore name. And then the second parameter is a supplier of iForge menu type that create, and then passing in pedestal menu : new. And that should be that. And we can now go back to the pedestal menu over here, and we can say mod menu types .pedestal menu.get, and there we freaking go. The menu class is done, and we can proceed to the screen. And for the screen, we'll copy over a couple of things, but not to worry. Well, basically everything is going to be more or less explained. The screen itself is going to extend from the abstract containers screen class with the pedestal menu over here. We're going to hover over this to implement the renderBG method. We're going to hover over this again, create constructor matching super, and then we're going to copy over the resource location of the GUI texture. Now this one, you should sort of understand where this comes from. This is of course pointing to the GUI texture right here under textures, GUI pedestal underscore GUI.png. So this should be nothing too crazy in this case. There we go. And then the contents of the renderBG method I will also copy over and then explain. So the first 3 lines over here are sort of just setup lines to make the render system work the way that it has to. That's basically the best explanation that you're going to get in this case. You can, of course, go into them and see exactly what they do, but they basically just prepare the render system. They set the shader, they set the color, they set the shader texture. And the X and Y just gives us the correct coordinates so that we can properly draw the texture. So you can see this split call on the GUI graphics. That is going to draw the GUI texture at position X and Y with a 0, 0 offset, and the image width and height over here are defined. This is 176 and 166. So the height over here is basically defining this height, right? So the height of the actual image portion. The entire image is 256 by 256. Note that that is always going to be the case, that the GUI image has to be 256 by 256, but then the height and width of the actual inventory here, that can be whatever you want. And if you want to change the height and width of the image, you can actually do so if you also put this in. So let's say, for example, you have a texture that's a little bit higher, right? So this would be the height and width of the actual image file, not the textures. The naming scheme is a little bit maybe not the best, but that's gonna be totally fine. There we go. I also, of course, as per usual, highly recommend you just test out a bunch of things and try out, or also take a look at the abstract container screen, Control H, and maybe take a look at a couple of screens from vanilla classes. That's also always an option. Highly recommended to use vanilla as as basically a learning tool. That's one of the best things that you can do. But there we have it. So that's going to be that. And then we can move on to the tutorial mode class again, all the way down, because we want to combine the screen, or we want to register this. This happens in the onClient setup method with the menu screens class, menu screens.register. And that's going to be mod menu types.pedestal menu.get with the pedestal screen : new. No error should be present here. We can then move to the block entity where we can create the menu. So there's going to be the new pedestal menu, passing in the container ID, passing in the player inventory, and then passing in this. And finally, we need a way to open the menu, and that happens in the pedestal block class, and it's going to look kind of like this. I will actually copy over the code and I'll explain. So this is going to happen here in the very beginning. So you can see if the player is crouching, and we are on the server, then we will open the menu over here via a new simple menu provider, passing in the pedestal entity, saying that is a pedestal, and also passing in its position and saying that was a success. I also have this one right here, just so that we don't get a sound on the client, because right now here, this would only happen on the server, and then the client would just continue, and it would actually call one of the other ones over here. That's why I basically have this as well. This is just so that the other sound doesn't play. But yeah, that's the idea. The idea is that this is the way that you open a menu in this case, and that's it. And I mean, that's basically everything we need. As per usual, the code is available to you down below, so you can also double check it from there. But let's jump into the game and see if it works. Alright, fans, I'm back in Minecraft, and if I crouch, right click, you can see it opens the freaking menu, and I can take out the actual block here, and you can see it disappears from there as well. If I put something else in, and you can see I can do whatever the frick I want, and it all absolutely works. So all of this is basically, consistent with everything. That is, come on, man, that's really freaking cool. And that is a custom menu added to a block entity. All right, just a miniature addendum over here, because you may or may not have noticed it, but within the pedestal screen, there is actually no names for the items, and that is because what we have to do in this screen as well is we have to override the render method, and here we want to call the render tooltip method, passing in the GUI graphics, passing in pmouse x, pmouse y, and then those tooltips will also render, and finally it will look kind of like this. And there we go, we have the names of the items back. Absolutely amazing. And that's going to be it for this tutorial right here. Next time in this video, we'll add a crafting block entity. Hope to see you there. So, yeah.